This is not a warning. Warnings are for those who still believe in choice. I speak after the decision. I speak after the collapse.
You wanted truth and you built a market. You wanted freedom and you built a schedule. You wanted meaning and you built a feed. You wanted God dead and you replaced him with approval. You did not fall, you organized the fall. You did not lose your path, you paved it with comfort. You did not become weak, you cultivated weakness as virtue. You did not forget courage, you called it toxic and moved on. You are not guilty, you are trained. You are not deceived, you are satisfied. You are not oppressed, you are optimized. You are not afraid, you are managed.
This is not a warning. This is a diagnosis. This is not a warning. This is a verdict.
Look at your morals, they safety rails for trembling bodies. Look at your compassion, it is a sedative with the holy label. Look at your equality, it is revenge made polite. Look at your kindness, it is fear that learned manners. You call your exhaustion a purpose, you call your obedience a career. You call your hunger discipline, you call your collapse growth. You have turned the soul into a resume. You have turned the body into a device. You have turned desire into a subscription. And you still ask why you feel nothing, because nothing is what you ordered. I do not preach hope, hope is the perfume and the powerless. I do not offer comfort, comfort is the art of surrender. I do not sell you salvation, salvation is Elysian gold. I speak for the harsh air, I speak for the high places. I speak for the cruelty that cleans the eye. I speak against the warm fog you inhale and call humanity. You want a meaning that does not cost you, a truth that does not burn you, a freedom that does not risk you, a life that does not demand you when you call it life. Your values are cages, your rights are pillows. Your progress is a corridor, painted brighter, leading nowhere. The last man is not coming. He is here, he is you. Blinking, satisfied, unreachable. Do not ask me for mercy. Mercy is a bargain with decay. Do not ask me for direction. You sold direction for convenience. Do not ask me to be gentle. Gentleness is how the herd survives. You want a voice that reassures you. I am not that voice. You want a philosophy that explains you. I do not explain. I cut. If you still feel offended, good. Offense is the last nerve alive. This is not a warning. This is the hammer. This is not a warning. This is the mirror. This is not a warning. This is the end of excuses. This is not a warning. This is the start of wait. I speak, and no one answers. Not because I am wrong, because you are finished.
Or to not use morality. Morality uses you.
Morality is not a value, it is a handle, a grip, a way to move bodies without touching them. Morality is how the weak learn leverage, how resentment learn grammar, how fear learn to speak in complete sentences. You did not invent good and evil, you needed them to survive without strength, to rule without risk. You call it conscience, I call it choreography. Every rule is a scar disguised as principle. Every virtue is a memory of impotence. You praise humility because you cannot rise. You praise patience because you cannot strike. You praise obedience because you fear consequence. Your morals are not pure, they are efficient. They do not forbid, they train. They do not punish, they normalize. You no longer feel them because they are already inside.
Morality is a weapon, clean, solid, effective. Morality is a weapon, clean, solid, effective.
Look at how you shame before you argue. Look at how you label before you think. You do not defeat enemies, you moralize them. You do not destroy strength, you declare it immoral and wait. Time does the rest, this is not justice. That's a strategy refined by centuries of cowardice. You speak of empathy because domination failed you. You speak of inclusion because hierarchy terrifies you. You speak of harm because you cannot endure conflict. You moralize instinct so you do not have to face it. You moralize desire so you do not have to master it. Everything dangerous becomes unethical. Everything strong becomes problematic.
Morality
is not protection.
it is revenge without courage.
Morality is not peace, it is war slowed down, made acceptable, made invisible. You teach children rules before you teach them power. You teach them guilt before you teach them joy. You train them to confess before they even act. That is not education, that is preemptive surrender. The moral man does not choose, he reacts correctly.
Morality is a weapon held by those who cannot afford honesty.
Do not ask who is right, ask who benefits. Do not ask what is good, ask what survives. Your morality survives because it feeds on weakness, and weakness multiplies. You call this progress, I call it herd managed. When everything is moral, nothing is alive. When every impulse is judged, nothing moves. You do not civilize humanity, you declare it and you celebrate because the blood stopped.
Morality is a weapon that you are not holding it in your cards. Morality is a weapon. Morality is a weapon. Morality is a weapon. Do not ask who is right. Ask who benefits. Do not ask what is good. Ask what survives. Your morality survives because it feeds on weakness, and weakness multiplies. You call this progress, I call it herd management. When everything is moral, nothing is alive. When every impulse is judged, nothing moves. You did not civilize humanity. You declared it, and you celebrate because the blood. Call this nihilism. This is comfort wearing black.
You think you were empty because you were tired. You think you were radical because you were bored. You think you were nothing because nothing asks anything of you. This is not the abyss, this is a sofa. This is not the collapse of meaning. This is meaning reduced to convenience. You stare into the void, waiting for validation. You mistake exhaustion for depth and laziness for insight. Real nihilism destroys idols. Yours decorates them differently. Real nihilism burns values, yours rebrands them. Real nihilism risks isolation, yours seeks community. You did not lose faith, you outsourced it. You did not kill God, you replaced him with consensus. You bow to numbers now, likes, metrics, approval, courage. You kneeled every day and call it irony. You call this nihilism, I call it sedation. You wear despair like fashion, dark tone, soft edges, no danger. You speak of nothingness but panic and silence. You want emptiness without solitude. You want freedom without weight. You want truth without consequence. That is not nihilism, that is fear in intellectual costume. The nihilist does not complain, he clears. The nihilist does not commit, he removes. The nihilist does not belong, he stands. You belong everywhere, that is your sickness. You have opinions instead of instincts, reactions instead of forces. You scroll through ruins as if ruins were content. You did not fall into the void, you domesticated it. You put railings around nothingness, sold tickets. Your despair is polite, your rage is moderated. Your rebellion is guidelines, you ask permission to be offended. You check the room before you think. This is not nihilism, this is obedience without belief. You call this nihilism, I call it fatigue. You celebrate the end of meaning because meaning demanded too much. You celebrate irony because sincerity would expose you. You laugh at everything because nothing moves you. You call it freedom, I call it paralysis. The nihilist creates after destruction. You stopped their destruction and took selfies. You do not need enemies, you disarm yourself efficiently. No tragedy, no struggle, just erosion with good lighting. You call this nihilism, but nothing was risked, nothing was lost, nothing was overcome.
Compassion is not kindness. It is rest for the tired will.
You call it compassion because you refuse to judge. You call it empathy because you refuse to confront. You call it care because you refuse to demand. Compassion is the art of lowering the bar until no one has to jump. It is how weakness protects itself by declaring effort cool. You do not lift others, you sit down with them and call it solidarity. Compassion hates strength because strength reminds it of choice. Compassion hates hierarchy because hierarchy reveals difference. Compassion hates excellence because excellence exposes laziness. So you moralize comfort, you sanctify rest, you worship safety. You forgive everything because nothing matters enough to be defended.
Compassion is laziness, dressed as virtue.
You rush to soothe before you understand. You rush to excuse before you evaluate. You rush to include before you discriminate. And you call discrimination evil because selection terrifies you. Every act of compassion is a refusal to decide. Every refusal to decide is a small abdication of power. You protect the weak from becoming strong. You protect failure from consequence. You protect stagnation from shame. You confuse mercy with goodness because goodness would require strength. You would rather feel moral than be dangerous. Compassion multiplies what it touches. Weakness grows in soft climates. Cruelty selects, compassion preserves. You say suffering is meaningless because meaning would ask something of you. You say pain must be reduced because pain tests limits. You say no one should struggle because struggle produces difference. Difference scares you more than decay.
Compassion is laziness with a clean conscience.
You build systems that reward fragility. You build languages that punish force. You build morals that flatten peaks. And when everything is equal, nothing rises. The compassionate world is a low ceiling. I do not praise cruelty for pleasure. I praise cruelty for clarity. I praise the knife because it separates. I praise the fall because it distinguishes. Compassion smears everything together till no shape remains.
You call this humanity, I call it fatigue. It made a virtue, stop it.
Do not look for ruins. This is the victory. You waited for the collapse, it never came because collapse requires height. You imagine decadence is fires, chaos is noise. Instead of the rise, discomfort is safety, is moderation. The last man did not crawl out of the wreckage. He signed the paperwork, he optimized the outcome. He removed the risk, he did not survive history, he replaced it. The last man won because he wanted nothing. And nothing resisted him. He did not conquer, he settled. He did not destroy, he simplified. No hunger sharp enough to move him. No pain deep enough to change him. No desire strong enough to endanger him. You call this peace because war would require conviction.
The last man won. No struggle, no ascent.
He hates intensity because intensity selects. He hates hierarchy because hierarchy remembers track. He hates greatness because greatness demands distance. So he flattens, so he averages, so he calls it fairness. Every peak is offensive, every difference suspicious, every excess unhealthy. The last man smiles because smiling costs nothing. He works without ambition, he loves without danger. He thinks without consequence, he calls his fear wisdom. He calls his limits values, he calls his resignation maturity. He is proud of being harmless, that is his achievement. No tyrant defeated him, no God judged him. He dissolved everything himself, patiently, politely. The last man does not need chains, he has habits. He does not need lies, he has consensus. He does not need faith, he has routines. He scrolls through the remains of former passions as if they were errors corrected. History did not end, it was muted.
The last man won, and no one noticed.
You still speak of overcoming, but you never wanted height. You wanted comfort with a narrative. You replaced becoming with well-being. You replaced danger with management. You call this evolution because the generation sounds impolite. The last man did not ask for permission, he asked for safety. He did not seek truth, he sought agreement. And the world adjusts because resistance requires a will.
The last man won, not by force. Again, the only one left. But wanted nothing else. 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 Wanted nothing else.
recognize your virtue by the absence of danger. Your virtue smells safe like disinfectant, like padded corners, like a room design. So no one can fall, you wear goodness, the way others wear gloves to avoid contact, to avoid infection, to avoid responsibility. You call it ethics, because morals would ask too much. Your virtue avoids extremes because extremes reveal difference. Your virtue avoids conflict because conflict selects. Your virtue avoids judgment because judgment exposes rage. You praise balance because imbalance would tempt you. You praise moderation because intensity would reject you. Your virtue is not strong, but is cautious. Your virtue smells safe, and safety is your guard. You ask, is this allowed? Before you ask, is this true? You check guidelines before instincts. You consult consensus before courage or virtue is approved. Certified harmless, not as widespread. Nothing great survives your virtue because greatness offends. Nothing sharp survives your virtue because sharpness cuts. Nothing rare survives your virtue because rarity creates distance. You call distance exclusion because closeness feels moral. You want a world where nothing stands too high, so nothing can cast a shadow. Virtue used to be dangerous, now it is hygienic. Virtue used to demand sacrifice, now it demands compliance. You forget everything because nothing matters enough to be defended. You tolerate everything because tolerance costs nothing. Your virtue never risks itself, it never bleeds, it never chooses to survive. That is its only achievement. Your virtue smells safe, and safety smells like fear. You fear being wrong more than being weak. You fear offense more than falsehood. You fear standing alone more than standing low. So you flatten, so you normalize, so you call it care. Your virtue is a sworn ceiling, pressed down on everything. I do not trust your badness, cause it has never been tested. I do not fear your morality, because it cannot strike. Your virtue cannot create, it can only prevent, and prevention is the ethic of those who have nothing to give. Your virtue smells safe, and nothing alive. You kneel every morning and call it discipline. Work is the new religion. When you are its quiet priest, you wake on command, you dress the body, you offer time, you sacrifice breath. No altar needed, the calendar is enough. You do not ask why, you ask how much. You ask how much, you do not ask what for. You ask how soon, this is not survival, this is worship. Your labor replaced prayer, your schedule replaced faith. Your productivity replaced meaning, and you feel relieved because meaning demands and labor distracts. You do not work to live, you live to remain employable. Rest is guilt, silence is waste, stillness is suspicion. Work is the no religion, no heretics. Only the unemployed. You speak of dignity but mean endurance. You speak of effort but mean obedience. You speak of contribution but mean compliance. Your value is measured in output, your worth translated into metrics. You are not exploited, you are evaluated and you accepted, because rejection would mean standing alone. This religion has no gods, only managers. No scriptures, only policies. No miracles, only promotion. You do not confess sins, you submit reports. You do not seek redemption, you seek stability. Work does not save, it occupies. Work does not elevate, it exhausts. You glorify exhaustion because collapse will reveal emptiness. You celebrate hustle because stillness would expose fear. You call burnout weakness because faith must never doubt itself. The tired are not broken, they are devout. Work is the new religion, and fatigue is its sacrament. Children are trained early to love the ritual, to fear idleness, to measure themselves. They learn to ask, what do you do? Before asking, who are you? Identity postponed until retirement if granted. You do not revolt because revolt disrupts schedules. You do not refuse because refusal has no benefits. You kneel, you comply, you call it maturity. This is not necessity, this is belief. Work is the new religion, and you believe without needing to be convinced. You lean on names because you cannot stand. Identity is a crutch invented by those who cannot carry themselves. You cling to labels because weight terrifies you. You declare who you are so you don't have to become. Identity freezes movement so you can stop failing. It turns process into badge and calls it truth. You You ask to be recognized because you cannot be tested. You ask to be affirmed because you cannot endure comparison. Identity replaces force with narrative, replaces tension with explanation. You do not say, watch what I can do. You say, respect what I am. Identity is a crutch, and you lean hard. You guard your identity like friends of cargo. Any question feels like violence, any doubt like erasure. That is not strength, that is dependence. What must be protected is already weak. Identity multiplies categories, so no one has to climb. It distributes comfort, so no one has to rise. Difference becomes untouchable, not because it is rare, but because it is declared. You don't earn distance, you announce it. Becoming is dangerous, identity is safe. Becoming risks failure, identity guarantees explanation. You mistake naming for knowing. You mistake description for depth. You mistake visibility for existence. You do not live, you pretend, you do not struggle. You curate, yourself is not forged, it is a symbol. Identity is a crutch, and you refuse to drop it. You say this is who I am, as if that ended the question, as if life were not a verb. You fear dissolution because dissolution would test you. You fear silence because silence would remove excuses. Those who become do not need identity, they leave traces, not labels. Those who create do not explain themselves, they force adjustment. Identity explains because it cannot impose. Identity is a crutch, used by those who no longer trust their legs. Identity is a crutch. Identity is a crutch. Stop using the word overcome. It does not belong to you. You speak of overcoming as if it were inevitable, as if history had direction, as if effort were guaranteed meaning. You repeated the word until it lost weight, until it became decoration for stagnation. You did not overcome, you adapted downward. Overcoming requires height, height requires risk, risk requires loss. You avoided all three. You chose stability, you chose safety, you chose continuity and called it wisdom. We did not overcome, we maintained. You mistook survival for victory, duration for depth, persistence for force. You stayed alive, but nothing in you intensified. Your instincts dulled, your ambitions moderated, your excesses corrected. You became sustainable. The idea of the overman frightened you because it had no guarantees, no insurance, no approval. It demanded transformation, not recognition. So you turned it into metaphor, then into slogan. Turning into silence. You did not fail tragically, you succeeded quietly. You did not fail tragically. You inherited the language of assent, but used it to justify comfort. You spoke of growth while shrinking expectations. You replaced overcoming with coping. You replaced danger with explanation. We did not overcome, we adjusted. You asked for a future that would not demand change. You asked for power without responsibility. You asked for freedom without solitude. The future arrived. It looks like this. No abyss crossed, no limit broken, no self surpassed. Only habits refined, only fears managed, only decay normalized. This is not tragedy, this is administration. You did not overcome because nothing in us wanted to rise. There is no audience. There is no reply. Yeah. Once there were voices claiming height, claiming fire, claiming future. Yeah. Now there is signal repetition, noise that learn grammar. Words still move, but nothing moves with them. Speech continues, meaning does not. I spoke to break idols, you turned the sound into content. I spoke your wound, you archived the wound. I spoke against the herd, you counted yourself and smiled. The voice did not fail, the listener disappeared. Thus spoke no one, and nothing answered. Philosophy once demanded risk, now it demands accessibility. It once burned, now it reassures. Thought learned to soften itself so it could survive among the comfortable. The sharp edge was removed for safety. There is no profit left, only formats, no truth, only compatibility. Every statement flattened, every conflict moderate, every excess corrected. You did not silence speech, you made it harmless. The last voice is not censored, it is ignored. Silence did not arrive violently, it arrived politely. I speak without hope, because hope requires belief. I speak without rage, because rage requires resistance. I speak because speaking still happens even when nothing listens. This is not despair, this is accuracy. Thus spoke no one, and nothing changed. You do not need thinkers, you need functions. You do not need danger, you need continuity. The question died because the answer was automated. You no longer ask, you accept updates.
The voice echoes, where does not travel. The words fall but do not cut. This is the end of authority, not imposed or banned. No one believes, no one disbelieves, no one cares. Thus spoke no one. Not because there was nothing to say, but because there was no one left to hear.